Tupac versus Tupac. You are your worst enemy.
What's up, y'all? So I just want to address things as they come.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl B Octavia, and I am back with another video. If you do not know me, my name is B Octavia. I am 24 years old and I'm from Washington, D.C. I am a business owner. My business is called Crush on You Beauty, and I have cosmetics and skincare. Today we will be doing another rap rivalry episode, and in today's episode I want to do Tupac versus Tupac. Now, this coincides with the quote, "You are your worst enemy." So basically, in my rap rivalry series, what I like to do is talk about the biggest beefs of all time in rap history, especially from what I've seen, in my generation, in my time of living. I also talk about rap feuds that happened before I was born, of course. But I wanted to talk about Tupac because I talked about Tupac and Biggie, right? But I can't move forward and talk about other rappers and their beefs without talking about Tupac himself. Now, when I think of a person, I think of course, their talent and what they brought to the world. Tupac was very talented in acting and in music, but it seemed like to me that he kept getting in his own way. From interviews that I've seen of Tupac and him talking about racial discrimination, and the list goes on, and especially talking about how we should move as people, as black people, how we are treated. He was a very deep person, and I respect that. But I wish that he would have listened to himself. You can't say all of these things and not be listening to what you're saying, because some of what he said, he never followed. And I'm not even talking about the rape charge. I'm not talking about none of that. What I'm talking about is, feeling like it's a difference between your image and reality. I feel like, especially back in the day, people wanted to make an image about themselves that they couldn't uphold. And honestly, I don't think that Tupac could uphold what he was trying to portray to the world. Don't get me wrong, he cut from a certain cloth, but it's not the same cloth as a gangbanger. It's not the same cloth as somebody who wholeheartedly grew up in the streets and then had his way of life, meaning acting, music, etc. Commercials, having all the girls around, whatever the case is. To me, there should be no difference between your image and what you like in real life. Because that's when people start to come out with stories that you was one way with them and then you was a whole nother way with other people. Image versus reality. And that's for anybody watching too. There should be no difference. You should be the same. You should be the same no matter who you talk to. Just the authenticity. Because I feel like he wanted to validate his authenticity by hanging around such dangerous people, and they blood. He wasn't no blood gang member. So that's where he messed up. Number one, only you can make your image. If you soft, people gonna end up finding out you soft. And I'm not saying Tupac was soft. I'm just saying he wasn't cut like the people that he was hanging around. Number two, if these blood members is jumping on these Crip members or this Crip member, it's not your time to jump in it too. And yeah, that might get taken as this or that, but you have a career to uphold. It was a time for the street shit, is what I'm saying. It was a time for it. You don't have to go through that shit all your life. And it seemed like he was just putting himself in trouble. He was putting himself on the scene. For what? For what? When trying to make a successful career, you have to sacrifice having a whole bunch of motherfuckers around you. You have to sacrifice your time. You have to sacrifice it for your safety, or shit like this will happen. If Suge and them would have still beat on so-and-so and Tupac was just standing overside, they probably would have still shot at the car. So, you know, it's the association that I'm talking about. It's no doubt in my mind that him hanging around Suge and them got him killed. Because he felt like, okay, I'm hanging with blood members. I'm basically blood. And I'm not saying, oh, this is facts. Oh, this is what he thought. But it seemed like it to me. And to be fair, when you love and care about somebody, it is like, if you get touched, I'm jumping in it, period. You know, so I understand that mentality. However, you know, when you're not thinking about what you have to lose ever, you're very reckless. You know, it's hard to lose it all and build it back up. It's very hard to do that. So I just felt like he didn't care about it that much. He didn't care about all that he had to lose. He didn't care about all of the people that admired just the simple traits about him. It's not about you having that gangster image. For me, it wasn't about anything like that. You know, I liked that he spoke on things that people are uncomfortable speaking on. I like the fact that it seemed like he had sense. But you have to follow through with what you're saying. You have to control your anger. You have to go about things in a very smart way. And in order to do that, you got to think it out. You had time to be a gangbanger. That time is over in your 20s, you know. And it should be. Let me just say that. It should be. Especially if you got a career, which a lot of people don't. If you have the mind to succeed, you shouldn't still have a desire to live a gang life, you know? Because where do gangsters end up? Shot, dead, in prison for a long time. You know what I'm saying? It's either three things. And sadly, Tupac fell straight into the stereotype. You know, as much as it seemed like he was fighting against a stereotype, he was falling into it and falling so deep that he couldn't get out. It's no going back. And especially once niggas know that you a big fish, it don't even matter if Tupac made contact with this dude, you know, stomped him out, whatever. If he did, if he didn't even get in, because there was a lot of niggas on him, right? But you a big fish. You can't do that. You can't partake in shit like that. And you shouldn't be around nobody that influences you to feel like you have to involve yourself. Because it's a lot that Tupac didn't know about the streets. A lot. Including, after something like that happens, you gotta lay low. It's not time to go to this after party or that one. Or you just had a huge fight in a hotel. You should be scared of the police coming to get you after you just got out for rape. You gotta think about it. This is the thing too. It's like, regardless if they would have shot and killed Tupac or not, that fight alone would have probably sent him back to prison. And I know that that's not a place that he wanted to go. So you got to use your brain. Use your brain and listen to yourself. I don't want to say I'm mad at him, but I'm disappointed in how he moved. I'm very disappointed. And I can say that honestly, you know. I'm disappointed, but let this be a lesson. Let this be a lesson to always listen to yourself. And listening to yourself is your conscience. Your conscience will tell you versus your impulse to do something. Your conscience will tell you what you really should do. Don't just go off of impulse, because shit like this is going to continue to happen. Down generation to generation to generation. And I don't want that to happen. So if you got something going for yourself, focus on it. If it's one thing, if it's two things, separate the time and focus on both. It's a way to do things. But what I really say is focus on your craft. And that's one thing, okay? Anybody that had a career or had an amazing niche or craft and then they focused on some other shit, it either got them killed or put in prison. So that is it for this Tupac versus Tupac rap rivalry. I'm sure that I have more to say on it, but it's about that time, you know what I mean? And yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in to yet another video, and I will see y'all in my next one.